guys, what's up? Happy Friday. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you all had a beautiful week. I'm so stoked you're here. This is going to be such a good video. For those of you that are new, my name is Orly and this is the DIY Designer. I do really fun like DIY fashion and home decor and styling videos. Basically, I'm just obsessed with like customizing everything in my life, whether it's my house or my clothes, and I'm equally as obsessed with getting you to do the same thing. So today falls perfectly in line with that. This is a really fun one because it's not only perfect as we start to get into the cooler months because it's a sweatshirt DIY, but it's amazing as we start getting into the holiday months, party months where you have lots of fun things to go to because it's got that perfect amount of glitz. I'm going to show you guys how to create a floral sequin sweatshirt. Now, the technique that I show you how to do can be done to anything, you know, like a cashmere sweater or a t-shirt or a pair of jeans or shoes or a purse, like literally anything you want, you can use this technique. And the reason I think it's so great is it saves a lot of money. So instead of going out and buying, you know, maybe 50 individual little sequin floral applique patches, we're gonna buy a yard of a floral sequin fabric and just cut the appliques off of that. So it's gonna take you a little bit more time in cutting it, but ultimately it's gonna save you so much money that it is so worth it. Plus you get a lot of variety in the patches, which is really cool. This is a totally no-sew project. I will talk you through where and when you would sew it if you wanted to, but otherwise this can be totally no-sew, which is so fun. And the best part about it is that on the inside it still feels like smushy and cozy and soft, but on the outside you've got that little fun sparkle, so it's great. All right, you guys, let's get right into it. I'm very excited. All right, so here is my sequin fabric and two sweatshirts I'm thinking of using. Now, you can buy your sequin fabric anywhere as long as it's the floral sequin on like a netting like this, that way you can cut them off. Now, one note is that if your netting is black, it's gonna be much easier to do a black sweatshirt because you won't have to hide the netting. Whereas if I do it on this pink sweatshirt, I'm gonna need to cut it out much more precisely so that you don't see the black border. Now, I wasn't sure which one I was gonna do, and when you're shopping, you'll find all different colors, so it really depends on the color of the sweatshirt and the color of your fabric. I started off cutting, and when you first start cutting, it's gonna take you a while because you haven't figured out all of the like little hacks that make it work really fast. I'm gonna share mine as I go. So the first thing I did was I tried just cutting out with my big scissors, kind of big chunks and sections as close as I could. Now this worked, but it took a really long time, and it also kind of exhausted my hands because I was using the big scissors trying to cut away all of that netting at the same time. You can see I got really close to the edge and it looks amazing, but I knew that it wasn't maintainable to do a bunch of them, right? So my next idea was, okay, what if I take my rotary blade and I intentionally leave about 1/4 of an inch netting around it, like a little border. I don't love the way it looks on the pink. It looks perfect on the black, obviously, because it totally disappears. So if you're gonna do black, that's how I'd recommend doing it. It saves a ton of time. It's gonna go super fast. All you're gonna do is take your rotary blade or even your large scissors, cut away large patches off of the netting, leave a border, and then start laying them on. It looked really cool, but there was something about the pink I wanted. I just kept going back to the pink being a cooler option. So this is what I ultimately do. I take my tiny scissors, and once I have that 1/4 inch sort of border around the whole thing, I go in and I cut away as close to the edge as I can until I have that. Now this next part I was hesitant on showing, but I'm just gonna do a little disclaimer. If you are not over 18, please ask an adult with help with this because you are gonna be using a lighter. And basically what you're gonna do is that little border that you have, you're gonna allow the heat of the lighter to roll back the netting. You're barely gonna have to touch it for it to roll back, so it's not gonna affect the sequins. It's just gonna shrink it to the point that it disappears. This allows you to get super tight to the edge where it looks like these are individual floral patches with no black netting on it whatsoever. But again, you're using a lighter, be super careful, ask for help if you need it. Anywhere that you've got stains on a sweatshirt or holes, this is a great way to hide them. So start with those, put the patches in places you need to hide any stains or rips, and then work your way out. You're just gonna start building out a balanced pattern. And this is just gonna take some time, lay it out, take a look, cut larger pieces into smaller pieces, fill in little gaps until you have an even spacing. Now, because this is no-sew, I'm gonna use fabric glue. I'm using Fabritac. You want a nice thin line of glue. And on the larger patches, what I recommend doing is leaving them exactly where they are and folding back sections at a time, adding glue and laying it back down. This ensures that the patch stays exactly where you put it. For small guys like this, you can pick it up, add the glue, and plop it back down because it's really easy. You know exactly where it's gonna go. But the bigger guys, it can be harder to lay them down without them getting stuck in each other or putting it down in the right spot. And so I think the sort of lift and glue and lay situation is much better. A really thin line of glue, and then use your hands to sort of push it in, like kind of pat it in so that everything is laying really flat. You're gonna do this until you have the majority of the sweatshirt done. And then what I recommend doing is just looking at it and deciding where you need more. At this point, I could have just decided to do the body and leave the sleeves, but I realized I wanted the hood, I wanted some on the sleeves, I wanted some on the back. So I threw it on my dress form so that I could actually like see the shape, see what's gonna be hidden, what's gonna show, and start adding them. I had music, I was dancing, it was a whole vibe. I started working on the back, and basically once I did like the shoulders, I took it off because I knew the rest of the back I could do while it was laying flat. Lay it flat and do the same exact process. You're just going to be adding the patches, and I think it's really nice to have them wrap around the side seams, wrap around the shoulders. Having that sort of 360 view where it's not like front and back is really, really helpful. So I cut out a bunch more and fill up the whole back and the top of the shoulders, and up close, this is what it looks like. Now, this is where if you didn't want it to just be fabric glued, you could use a needle and thread and tack down some of the edges, or a small little zigzag stitch going around the edges. But I think the fabric glue is totally sufficient, and that's how I'm gonna go. Okay, that's it. I'm gonna show you guys what this looks like on. It is so beautiful. It is such a statement piece, and again, like I said, it feels so cozy on the inside, but has all that fun pop on the outside, so it's really great. If you guys do this one, please do share it with me. You can send it to me on social media. I would love to see it. I hope you all have a beautiful week, and I will see you next week. Enjoy the fashion show.
The walls around me kept me safe. I couldn't see that I was shutting you out. I was stuck up and proud, but I'm waking up now. Didn't know that I need you. I'm waking up now. You gotta know that I need you. Messed up, but it's time for me to be dropping down my defense. I realized I wasn't there for real. What I did didn't make any sense. How